This is Sports Matters with Jerry Collin.
It's so retro.
We cover all the biggest sports on the planet. MMA, boxing, snooker, football, darts, you name it, and we cover it.
Okay, so welcome to Sports Matters with me, Jerry Collin. I'm going to be honest, it's rare that I get starstruck. I'm a massive wrestling fan. I've had the honour of doing interviews with some of the greatest sports stars across the world, but this man next to me, it's just surreal for me.
Really built it up.
Cody, Rhodes, how's things with you?
Oh man, they're really just excellent. Thank you for having me. And
absolute honor.
It's been this is the last day of kind of a whirlwind tour, so really enriching.
Stuff. And the tour, it's different for you. It's kind of like a first time. Have you enjoyed it?
It's been better than any WWE tour I did over here, simply because I got to kind of cherry pick the situation. Also, super nice that after 3 matches with What Culture, the last things I do are these inside the ropes speaking, so I don't have to be half naked. So I kind of cheated heavily on the diet last night and have no shame over it, no regrets. No one will ever know. So I was it was Ireland, so I figured I'd literally ordered 2 Guinnesses to the room. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then 6 times later, the guy called is like, hey man, you should have just ordered what you wanted all at once. 'Cause I felt bad, but it was a good night. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And
That's such a sounded so sad, me lonesome, but it was Ireland. I was trying to get in the spirit, yeah.
Tonight's going to be a good night, though, because Cork, we say, Cork is the real capital of Ireland.
I've heard that.
Hopefully you'll get to go to a few pubs after the show tonight, or I'm sure there'll be a couple of lads downstairs that will try and drag you and bring you elsewhere, So
I am willing to be drug around this evening. It's it. This is the pinnacle of the whole tour. So last night and then back to the States tomorrow. So it's a celebratory evening. Yeah.
Stuff. And of course, your amateur days. I know you've got a very good amateur record. 2-time state champion. What was it like in your amateur days for you?
Well, I thought it was really cool because folk style wrestling is not something my dad ever did. Even though a lot of the moms and dads of other kids on the team or kids I would wrestle with, they kind of assume pro wrestler. Oh, especially if they didn't know what he did or who he was, they assumed he was wrestler, I guess. So it was fun for him and me because he knew nothing about folk style, the point scoring. I don't think he figured out until my last year in high school. It was always fun. He loved it. He never missed a match. And amateur wrestling for me I feel it's the ultimate character builder because there's literally no way you can make an excuse. It's just you. And I just thought the best character building sport worldwide. Also just the technical. There used to not really be a true pro wrestling. Now I guess with UFC and mixed martial arts and its popularity, there kind of is, because all fights end up on the ground in somewhat of a wrestling match, and to see those guys excel and succeed makes me feel good. I was good at a smaller kind of regional level. I wondered if I had gone on and taken the scholarship, how I would have done on a more competitive level. But man, there's not a better sport. Whenever I see it, I could sit all day at one of those dual meet tournaments, or all day with teams I don't know, just picking favorites, and I love it.
It is awesome, man. I always watch the Olympics. It's awesome as well. Of course, you made that switch then to, of course, working with some great brands. But for you, what was the transformation like? Because obviously you have to go through the whole kind of the process of getting ready for that. But how did you find the switch?
Well, I think I had a lot of time because I was really for a long time thinking about leaving WWE, and I had kind of it's like a prison break. Yeah. You got time to map out your plan and what you're gonna do. And I also a lot of the guys in the WWE locker room are really aware of business elsewhere. New Japan is super hot. Rev Pro, What Culture, Progress. There's so many, but because of social media, it's not like, oh, you never know. Like now you can see it. You can see a clip from the show. You can stream the entire show. The world is a bigger place all of a sudden for wrestling. And so I like I was saying earlier, I cherry picked like what culture was going to be the first stop, and I'm really glad and really just happy with how it went.
Yeah, and like you were a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. Like that's a great honor. 3-time Tag Team Champion. Like, what was it like to be on a list with so many great names?
Well, I think titles for us who like really love it.
Yeah.
You try not to get too like nerdy about it, but the truth is, you like fills your soul up. There's a guy on the independent scene now named Flip Gordon. He had a show at an independent promotion named Chaotic, and he won one of their titles the other night. And he drove me from somewhere in Massachusetts to New Jersey, and he was talking about, oh, that was my first title I won, and I could he was really buzzing. Measured with what he said, but I could tell he was buzzing. And then we got out of the car. He's like, helping me with my bags and stuff, and he goes, hey, here it is. And he took it out and showed it to me, and I could literally it made me think about when I won the tag titles. It was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the very first WWE championship, and Shawn Michaels was like, "You first one?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, man, that's really cool." And I thought, well, if he says it's really cool, it's really cool, Yeah, so it's a big deal.
Good stuff. And Arrow, we're all big fans of Arrow in Ireland. Your guest appearance. Can you tell us anything at all? Because the fans, we can't wait to see it.
I know they did a press release the other day talking about the character itself. The character's name is Derek Sampson. He's a drug dealer. It's a vast departure from myself. And if you're a fan of the interaction that Steven and I had with the Stardust Arrow crossover, it's like a step up. It's like really just throwing it into Star City, essentially. And they really gave me a lot to chew on, a lot to challenge myself. Obviously, this is my first acting role, and it's got a lot of buzz around it. So the last thing I want to do is let anybody down. But Mark Guggenheim and Greg Berlanti, they just built this world, man. They just with Supergirl, with Legends of Tomorrow, with Flash, with Arrow. It's this wonderful home for superheroes and villains alike, and they let me share it for a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to the episode, seeing it, but I'm looking forward to hearing what people thought about it, and then seeing where it goes from there.
I think we're really onto something with this.
I
think so.
Yeah, I showed him a clip. I showed him but we can never talk about it, what he saw. But it's cool, It's cool.
Definitely. Now I have to talk to you because you've had so many great matches. If you could pick one match, Cody, what would be your standout match?
I've gotten better at answering this question because I'm usually like, I don't know, and I wander about in my mind. My favorite match I had in WWE was very likely Money in the Bank in Philadelphia, the one where Sandow won, because it's really difficult in pro wrestling for the fans to show up thinking one thing and then have a completely different take on you when it's over in the span of 15 to 30 minutes, whatever that match was. The way it worked out, where to walk in a bad guy and kind of walk out a good guy, without that ever being written on paper, and without that ever being, that's like lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Like you can always think, oh, we'll do it again tomorrow, but it was really tough. And I think all the years I spent in WWE, equity-wise, added up to that moment and made it real. So I have the softest spot in my heart for Philadelphia, which is the hardest city to have a soft spot for, but still.
Good stuff. And last of all, future projects. TNA, we were delighted to see the intro, Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor, the final battle.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to future projects? Because it's looking amazing, to be honest.
So I had a conversation today about Final Battle, talking about a personal ring announcer, and that conversation alone made me giddy as can be. I'm very much looking forward to Ring of Honor. I was so happy to go and do Bound for Glory in the fashion I did, and it to be received the way it was. I will say, because you hear so much about TNA, man, my experience was just gleaming. Dixie Carter was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Billy is a rock star. From a management standpoint, from the time I filmed the teaser, the bumper with the Corvette to my last taping before I
was
came
awesome.
out here,
That was
they treated me like gold and operated incredibly efficiently. So I have nothing but nice things to say about them. I don't know who owns TNA, but I think we'll all find out at some juncture. Either way, in the end, no one really owns anything. It's the fans who own it. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Cody, we're looking forward to the show
Yeah,
tonight.
man.
It's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
man. Very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Check out all the latest interviews with Jerry and the Stairs weekly on Sports Matters.